Robby Soave, saw some issues with the case from the beginning and spent a little bit of time investigating the facts, was kind enough to join us before this. You predicted this, Robby. I want to get to the merits of the case in a minute, but this from NBC News, not from MSNBC, NBC News. A federal jury failed to convict 4 men accused of plotting to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, whom they despised for the restrictions she ordered earlier in the pandemic, as if it was the jury's fault.
Yeah, right. Incredible. Yeah, incredible reaction. I'm seeing a lot of media kind of misunderstanding of this case. Yeah, I saw a lot of kind of crazy reaction from Joy Reid had one who is with MSNBC. I think people, if they didn't pay really close attention to this case, might not understand that Gretchen Whitmer was actually never in any real danger, because for the entire time of the so-called plot being organized, the FBI was completely aware of it and actually was paying an informant to make sure it went forward to the stage where they thought they'd have enough evidence to arrest them, which is not what you hear.
As you really read into the case, it seems like the 4 people who were put on trial, 2 of whom are now thankfully home with their families, were too stoned and dumb to do just about anything but for this FBI informant who egged things on, and an FBI agent who may or may not have had some ulterior motives. Then Gretchen Whitmer, the governor, has now released a statement. Today, Michiganders and Americans, especially our children, are living through the normalization of political violence. I'm old enough to remember when Democrats believed in the rule of law, and if a jury spoke, that should mean something.
Yeah, and look, the jury was pretty clear, because what happened during the actual trial was what I thought an incredibly one-sided presentation by the prosecution. They pulled every trick in the book to make sure all of the evidence they wanted to present, they were able to present, and they were very good at shutting down anyone they didn't want to be able to speak. And still, the jury saw through this and said, well, wait a minute. She was never in any real danger. And wait a minute, who was the one organizing this? Who was the one saying, let's surveil Whitmer's house? Oh, it was the person being paid by the FBI. I think this is an example of sort of, regular people having enough sense to go, yeah, these guys might be morons. We can absolutely strongly object to the things they said. Maybe some other lesser prosecution would have been appropriate. But this was not, they were not about to pull off the heist of the century. They were at no point anywhere near doing that.
They were too stoned in the basement.
Just like
it makes you think, though, that there have been a number of these cases that were brought very quickly during sort of the 2020 violence and political arguments of the time. I'm thinking about Kyle Rittenhouse. I'm thinking about these 4, where the prosecutions have totally fallen apart and the jury acquitted. And there seems to be a lack of willingness, and maybe I should say, ask it as a question. Have you seen a lack of willingness of prosecutors and of the government to go back and do some soul searching about whether we should have charged these cases to begin with?
I think that's a fair point. And no, I don't think there's a lot of soul searching going on. Prosecutors, their incentive is clear, right? They want to get reelected. Yeah. They want a 99.9% conviction rate. They want to bring easy cases. I think in some cases they've gotten a little ahead of themselves. I think the prosecutors didn't see this thing as anything other than a slam dunk. Maybe they were kind of believing, fed into their same,
The Kyle Rittenhouse prosecutors thought exactly the same thing.
You're right.
And we know how that turned out. Hey, Robby, keep up the great work. Journalists are an important part of getting the facts out, and you've done that in this case. And obviously, you were proven right by the jury. We appreciate you joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks so much for covering this.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.